It's all over.
What up, what up, what up? What's cracking? What's popping? You are now officially tuned in to AllOva Radio. And as always, it's all over, overall, until all falls. It's your boy Loud Mouth, down south drafted, west coast crafted. And we here for another one. On my left-hand side, well, really, right across from me, because we switched up the seats a little bit, because we over here fooling. But right across from me, Caution, Mr. 700.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's good, man? Caution, Mr. 700, the usual suspect.
You know, in a course position right to my left, Agtown's diplomatic ambassador, Mr. B. Clark.
What's the deal? What's good with it?
We are broadcasting to you live from the great state of Texas, from the city on the come up, DALLSO, yes, Dallas, Texas, man. And we are here to give you what you want and exactly what you need. AllOva Radio is a show brought to you by Black Kings, for Black Kings and Queens, and for anyone and everyone else who rocks with Black culture and matters that concern Black people everywhere and all over. We're going to chop it up about what's trending and what's grooving across the U.S. and abroad. We're going to drop knowledge and insight on complex political matters, introduce you to fire independent artists from different parts of the country who are not tied down by major record label captivity, and we're going to educate you on dope organizations and individuals that are making an impact in Black communities all over the U.S. and overseas.
It's all over.
Indeed, it is all over, overall. So let's get into it.
Yeah, get into it.
Yeah.
It's so fucking random. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's so random,
Yeah.
but I'm with it though.
Get
You know, it's the
into
first
it.
time for everything.
Listen. If you got females in the house like I do, they on TikTok on a regular basis, right? So y'all don't feel to get into it, but everybody else know what they're talking
It'll get
about.
there. It'll warm up.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Let's give it some time.
But we got a lot to talk about today, right? There's a lot going on in the world of social media. People are talking, people are typing, people are tripping, to be quite honest, right? But is it relevant? Is it nonsense? Either way, we're going to see what has y'all socially influenced.
For a subject today, excuse me, I am under the influence.
There we go. Touchdown.
That's hilarious.
All right, Clark, what you got for us today on this this socially influenced?
Pretty much first thing on the docket is everything is what everybody's in the uproar about. Been in the uproar about these last month? The George Floyd incident or the death of the young 46-year-old man in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The whole world's been in uproar, protests in all 50 states. And that's the record. It's
Other
been
countries,
done before.
all
Other
50?
countries, yeah.
Even
all
New
50.
Hampshire?
Everywhere. They showed a map on the news. I've seen it on Fox, so we'll take it for what it's worth on Fox.
I don't know if I saw white boys in Maine protesting, but
Listen,
we gonna
man,
run
out
it.
You'll
there.
be surprised. They said all 50.
I saw the Amish out there. When the Amish touched down, okay, it's the next level.
That's what
I
I'm
did.
saying. So, but it said all 50 states, everybody's protesting. That's a world record for whatever for protests going on. So, on top of that, all 4 police officers that were involved with it are currently in jail. Well, actually, one I read today has just posted bail for $750,000. He's released.
Boy, got some money.
Yeah, he got some bread on him.
I'm not mad at
They've
him
been
with some
released.
money, okay?
His name is the Thomas Lane officer. He's the other white officer that was on duty with him. It was an Asian and another black officer out of all 4 of the police officer. But he's the only one to post bail, and I believe he did that today. So $750,000, and that man is, I'm pretty sure he's back in somewhere hiding because I know there's somebody looking for him.
He's kicking it. He's straight kicking it.
Yeah, he better chill
You know,
out.
so interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
so what's funny to me is that do y'all see what I see is like our people seem to be kind of all on this black-owned business tip right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
how many Facebook invites y'all got from like black-owned businesses
Man,
in the
still
last
getting
week?
them. Still getting them. That's really,
I'm okay with the concept of it. I'm not okay with just supporting for the sake of, because then that would also limit quality in a sense sometimes. And I'm not saying for all, so I don't want to be taken the wrong way. But every time I support my people, I'm just like, damn it. Like, come on, bro. Why are you doing this to me? And shout out to anybody that has, a small business, anybody like that has a I'm sorry. Yeah, we still socially influenced. But I'm all for the supporting your own, but sometimes, man, let's just make sure that we got the right type of things going on. Like something that's well-rounded for all of us. Like everybody doesn't eat the same things, drink the same things. Exactly. Like, you got some vegans out there. You got people that buy a certain kind of clothes. So like, let's incorporate it all for us here. Like,
shout out to the black vegans out there.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? I'm not a vegan. I eat plant-based. That was the one thing that I saw that was funny. Like on the food pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a female selling fruit-infused Hennessy.
Nice.
Nice. That's your lane, Clark.
That sounds like a good night.
Depending on which brand of Hennessy. Now, it depends on which Hennessy it was. If it was some XO, some top shelf.
Bro,
I'm not
inside some pineapples. Or
I'm
some
not
peaches.
mad. I'm not mad. Okay, it's not. It's maybe not an everyday type of thing, but every now and then,
One chick come in there and say, "Baby, I got this Hennessy.
I'm
apples."
killing that.
You go. That's what I'm saying.
I'm killing that.
Close the garage, turn the lights off, put on some soft music.
I'm murdering it. I may feel bad about it later, but I'm gonna murder it off the jump.
It's gonna be a hell of a morning.
I got this pineapple Hennessy, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Soggy and strong.
But it's like only options is like alcohol, cakes, fries, and burgers, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to support it, but I don't also want to support diabetes and high blood pressure.
Man, I don't want to put on 50 pounds.
For real, man. Come on.
Get 50 pounds heavier trying to support our people's business, man. Y'all need to diversify the food portfolio. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking, man.
But you do got other lanes, though. They are like, if you want to keep working out, you do support a black trainer, a black physical.
Right. Yeah, all of that type of stuff.
Like that. Yeah. You got like people that make their own clothing. Like I got a couple partners that make shirts and other forms of clothes and stuff like that. You can support them like that. So it's just not really just all food and putting on the calories and the pounds and shit like that, or getting drunk or some liquor invention that some apple infused Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I saw a young lady in she had like a spot like in Lancaster on the south side somewhere where she was like she had like a nutritionist. You know what I'm saying? And she took a picture.
Lancaster, bro. You're not in California. They call it Lancaster here.
Why?
See, hold on. See,
That's
when
weird.
I was in Dallas, it's Lancaster, but in Fort Worth, it's the street, and it's Lancaster. So
I don't know why in Dallas it's Lancaster.
In Cali, we say
Lancaster. I know.
Yeah,
I just,
See, and then when I talk to my Fort Worth homeboys, I'm like, man, I was over off Lancaster. It's like, where you?
This
What?
is the
Where's
problem
that
when you have a language that you ain't supposed to speak.
People start making up their own shit,
just
putting it
make it
together.
up.
Same word, just said differently. Okay, I got you.
No, I'm talking about. Like we took 7 words and squished it into one.
That's that Atlanta
and
shit,
an
though.
apostrophe.
Now I'm talking about.
Know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's got like 3 syllables.
And you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
understand. Yeah. You can get the job.
Like in Atlanta, that was the only place I ever seen where they spelled something out, but it meant like 5 words that you don't even know. It was one. It was one word, and it was just separated letters, but it meant so much.
Yeah.
It meant so much. Like I appreciate them in that language, but
It's like we've developed like regional tribal languages.
Okay.
learn a lot of
As long as I get my point across and you understand what I'm saying,
You heard me.
It's all
good.
it's
Yeah,
talking
we
about?
on the same page. You talking about?
Now talk about
You know what I'm
yeah. Hey, I want to get your thoughts on this, Clark. I want to see if this has happened to you. I've seen a lot of people hit me up about this,
Right.
but it seems like with all this being said, right? Like it seems some white folks are getting nicer.
Super nice.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people waving at me in the grocery store. I had neighbors bring me ice cream. Ice cream.
What kind of ice cream?
It was like
Don't tell me it was chocolate.
It was mint. It was mint
Don't tell me it
chocolate.
was chocolate.
No, it was
pistachio.
It was mixed. It was like y'all need to quit. It was a good gesture though. It was like mixed sherbet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like a sherbet, like swirl from this really cool like gourmet craft ice cream spot.
How was it?
It was delicious. The
believe
kids
it.
loved it,
I
and
believe it.
we were surprised. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like some white folks are getting like. Some of it's awkward though. It feels strange to like be at a grocery store. All of a sudden, someone just walks up like, "Hey, how are you doing today?"
Yeah, I've had that happen to me and my daughter's walking in my parents' neighborhood, and people, 6 houses down. What's going on, buddy?
What you feel about it though? You feel like it's real? You feel like it's just like a momentary thing?
just keep the same energy 6 months from now. Keep the same energy a year and a half from now when all this shit die down. If it dies down, just if you're being nice now, be nice to me a year later. Be nice to me 2 years later. Don't just fake it right now just because all this stuff is happening. So, I mean, I don't feel too shits about it. People,
I think sometimes it's just like a good gesture for me. Like I've considered the fact that I'm 6'2.5". I'm dark complected. I weigh over 250 pounds. Yep. So if I saw me coming, I'd probably cross the street if I was just out on a random day. I'm not gonna front with you.
Can't say that
I would. For me, like I've had it happen.
You scared of your own people?
Nah, hell no. I'm talking about for me in general. If I saw me, you know what I'm saying? So I understand sometimes if people see me and they shy away. I'm not saying that it's right. But I kind of live my life in a realistic fashion. Like I've had it happen to me. I've been out jogging. I mean, I've lived in the suburbs now for a good part of I don't know how long, as opposed to where I'm from. So I've been out in Las Colinas and Valley Ranch jogging and seen like older white women cross the street when they see me coming. I don't really care though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if we share in the same space, if I'm close enough to see and touch you, then you shouldn't be worried about me. Like we shouldn't, like you should be worried about the people who can't get over here or like the people who look like they're out of place. But I'm over here at 7 a.m. walking my dog just like you are. So I guess I try to deprogram myself from it because if I don't, then I pick up on everything. You see what I'm saying? And so
that's true.
It's just a messed up. Right. That's what I'm saying. So I try to just kind of treat everything as if it's not happening for the most part when I'm out and about because overtly you see so much shit, bro. Like you see so much, like the just disparaged treatment from different people, how they act towards you, and then the next person that walks up behind you. If you just look at the way they treat you, depending on who you are. So I try not to really get too into it, but I mean, I'm all right if you want to hold the door open for me. I'm cool. You know, you want to hand me the butter if it's the last one in there. Please do. I'm gonna take that shit.
I just need y'all to open up your pocketbooks and stuff.
Oh, well, that's not gonna happen.
Nah, hell no.
Well,
unless you play sports,
it's wishful thinking.
Unless you catching touchdowns or scoring baskets and opening that checkbook up. So
yeah, that's not.
It would be a nice gesture to go to Sprouts and somebody hand me a 20. That's all I'm saying. Man, so
expensive ass groceries, they ain't giving you nothing in there. It's like, give you no money. You know how much these Sprouts were. You know how much
oh man. All right. So Clark, thank you for that socially influenced. Here's the thing, man. As y'all all know, like I try to stay off social media.
Right.
I do not engage with it too often, but I got sucked back into it. So I was seeing all these things and people, but I think I'm about to plug back off. But what I do like, Clark, is what you mentioned just about overall regarding George Floyd and all of the things that are happening with people now chanting like defund the police. And,
explain that to me. I was gonna ask you. Explain that to me because I don't understand. I've heard it, but I don't understand it.
Well, because that's the problem with social media, right? Like we get into these, very like pithy short sayings, but they're shallow, right? There's no depth to it, right? So what those that are proponents of defund the police are really trying to communicate is that these systems are not working anymore. Our tax dollars as citizens are going, a large amount of the money is going towards police forces that are not serving us and meeting our needs. Okay. So just like you chose to defund schools and take out arts, and defund other areas of local and city government, why not defund the police and create something new? So people are not saying not have police in any shape or form, but stop giving the current system funds, restructure it in a way that serves the community better. I don't really have a dog in the fight in that matter. I have other perspectives on it, but my thing is that these questions and all of this stuff is coming up, and where is our place in it within the current political environment? Because it's a hot mess, man. And we as descendants of Africans in the Americas, if you will, right, are often used as political pawns in this whole power struggle between Democrats and Republicans. And that's what bothers me, is that I find, especially on social media, right, like we get too caught up into debating and arguing with people that really are not trying to hear us anyway. And we take sides too quickly. And, but the question for me is, how should we as black people actually feel? How should we vote? Like, where should our leanings lie? What side should we actually choose? What issues should we advocate for? Should we even participate in this at all? Like, what is the take, right? There's so many thoughts and perspectives to discuss, but what we can all agree on is that really none of us want or need the same old politics as usual?
Politics as usual.
Thank you, Jay. You know, he's absolutely reasonable doubt. And without a reasonable doubt, the hot topic of today's political landscape is discussing who as black people should earn our vote. We have historically voted for Democrats because we believe that they have our best interests in mind, right?
Yeah.
But is that really true? Is that the case? As of late, you know, black thought leaders and media members from Killer Mike to Charlemagne the God, we've all heard, even the much maligned Mr. Kanye West have challenged black people to not give their vote away so easily to the Democratic Party without hesitation. We've even had an old white man tell us that if we didn't vote for him, our status as black people would be officially revoked.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
I love that. Shit. I love it. There's a bit of truth in there. Okay, there's a slight bit of truth.
Okay, hold on. What okay? Where only in 2020 can a 77-year-old white man tell a brother that
speak his truth?
I'm gonna snatch your black card from you.
Speak your truth, King.
If you listen to it again,
he said that with his finest.
You listen to hear how serious his voice was in that damn audio clip.
Joking? That was conviction.
He said that shit like, man, I'm over with this.
Shit with his chest.
Drop the mic and walk the fuck out.
Did that sound? Listen to him. Listen to him again. Listen to him.
Problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Boom, motherfucker. If he'd have said motherfucker at the end of the day and walked off, I'd be like, okay.
Vote for that man.
Oh,
like, okay.
Man, that was conviction, right?
I'm gonna go stand in line.
You gonna stand in line to vote?
Yeah, just for
all
that.
Right. You know, so that's funny to me, man.
It was crazy. I actually got and this is not related. This is related more to politics than music. But there's a line in a song that I just did recently with a good friend of mine. Shout out to Elohim Throw, where he said, and they want me voting. What'd he say? They want me voting Democrats when they ain't doing shit for blacks. So don't be trying to give me that lesser of two evils. Please don't get me involved. What did it say? Say less and obey. So essentially, you voting for the lesser of two evils there. I mean, I know Joe Biden has his things that he's had his hand in as far as like the crime bill and he was an advocate for it. He was pushing it. He was behind it. Yeah. But then, you know, you do have Donald Trump on the other end, and if you either with him or you not, you know what I mean? Like there is no in the middle on him. So I don't really know enough about Joe Biden to confidently say I would go in and vote for him either. You see what I mean? Yeah. So that's where it goes, because, you know, and this is just me being blatantly honest. I mean, I grew up in Compton, California, and I mean, in my lifetime, I've probably seen, I don't know how many presidents, right? But it never changed our environment.
It never seemed to matter.
It never touched it. Yeah. And so we never gave a fuck who was the president. Like, we cared more about who the mayor of Compton was. Like, you know what I mean? If it was Omar Bradley or whoever came after him. And, you know, that's as far as it went for me. I didn't even know anybody else I was shocked when Arnold Schwarzenegger became the governor or whatever he was. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, damn. Yeah, like, it got to be, it made everything possible.
Schwarzenegger killed Tookie, so I don't even want to talk about that.
Right.
So shout out to the Lokes. So but that Elohim Throw, I think, quote that you mentioned, you know what I'm saying, really brings the point home of what I want to, address and, you know, bring to the table. Just look at it like, the question becomes like, how do we decide on these things, right? How do we approach this? Where should we go for guidance and advice on these matters? For me personally, it's a must for us to look at what our leaders of old have had to say about America's political power brokers, because we don't really have a lot of voices, right, of wisdom and discernment and insight to give us guidance, right? We, unfortunately, all of our extremely astute black leaders were assassinated right in the same span of time, right? So I kind of want to go back, really, honestly, and look at some of these great intellectuals like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and see what they had to say on these issues, right? They give us a wealth of insight. And, you know, the quote that I want to talk about and go back to the archives again is from Brother Malcolm and what he had to say about the two parties that seem to be fervently fighting for the attention of black people. But I'm going to warn you, this is a precursor. This may be a trigger warning for some of y'all, you know, because I know that there's a lot of ingrained ideology. But I think it's important for us to kind of review this. And I want to read this because I think that it's valuable. But it may challenge you. So this is from Malcolm X in 1963 and what he said about liberals and conservatives, right? He said, listen to this, gentlemen. The white liberal is the worst enemy to America and the worst enemy to the black man. Let me explain what I mean by the white liberal. In America, there is no such thing as Democrat or Republican anymore. In America, you have liberals and conservatives. The only people living in the past who think in terms of I'm a Democrat or Republican is the American Negro. He's the one that runs around bragging about party affiliation. He's the one that sticks to the Democrats or sticks to the Republicans. But white people are divided into two groups, liberal and conservative. The Democrats who are conservative vote with Republicans who are conservative. The Democrats who are liberal vote with Republicans that are liberal. The white liberal aren't white people who are for independence, who are more moral and ethical in their thinking. They are just a faction of white people that are jockeying for power. The same as the white conservative is a faction of white people that are jockeying for power. They are fighting each other for power and prestige. And the one that is the football in the game is the Negro. 20 million black people then. Our numbers haven't really increased 13% for a long time. That's a whole other issue unto itself. Right. But a political football, a political pawn, an economic football, an economic pawn, a social football, a social pawn. The liberal elements of whites are those who have perfected the art of selling themselves to the Negro as a friend of the Negro, getting sympathy of the Negro, getting the allegiance of the Negro, and getting the mind of the Negro. Then the Negro sides with the white liberal, and the white liberal use the Negro against the white conservative. So that anything that the Negro does is never for his own good, never for his own advancement, never for his own progress. He's only a pawn in the hands of the white liberal. The worst enemy that the Negro have is the white man that runs around here drooling at the mouth, professing to love Negroes and calling himself a liberal, and it is following these white liberals that has perpetuated problems that Negroes have. If the Negro wasn't taken, tricked, or deceived by the white liberal, then Negroes would get together and solve our own problems. I only cite these things to show you that in America, the history of the white liberal has nothing but a series of trickery designed to make Negroes think that the white liberal was going to solve our problems. Our problems will never be solved by the white man. The only way that our problem will be solved is when the black man wakes up, cleans himself up, stands on his own feet, and stops begging the white man and take immediate steps to do for ourselves the things that we have been waiting on the white man to do for us. Once we do for self, then we will be able to solve our own problems. The white conservatives aren't friends of the Negro either, but they at least don't try to hide it. They are like wolves. They show their teeth in a snarl that keeps the Negro always aware of where he stands with them. But the white liberals are foxes who also show their teeth to the Negro but pretend they are smiling. The white liberals are more dangerous than the conservatives. They lure the Negro, and as the Negro runs from the growling wolf, he flees into the open jaws of the smiling fox. One is the wolf, the other is the fox. No matter what, they'll both eat you. Malcolm X, 1963.
God damn.
I know that's heavy. I apologize, if that offends, but those are Malcolm's quotes. I wanted to read it so we can just kind of like marinate on it. What do y'all think about those quotes? What are your perspective on it?
You just made me feel like I was in the movie Malcolm X. That shit was long as hell. Was that a speech
like,
you written
that
down, or was that just
long-winded.
pure conversation?
That was a speech.
God damn.
Listen, I understand where he was coming from at the time.
Yeah.
I understand, and that goes along with another one of my favorite quotes about him is that, that the price of freedom is death, and it comes with a certain price. And this falls in line with that for me. Like, I don't necessarily know the context in which he was speaking, but I do understand where he was going with it. But I mean, it all falls within the same rhetoric of who Malcolm X is in general, for the most part.
Yeah,
right.
You
know what I mean? Like, if you know anything about him, you know that he never held his tongue when it came to how he felt about all those things. But I would say I slightly agree with some of it. I think most of our problem is our general lack of knowledge regarding certain things that have to do with politics. And so the easy answer is just to say, I don't want to vote. Like, I don't trust none of them. Like, that's kind of a cop-out. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I think what I take from this is I need to be more knowledgeable about if I am to pick a side. I need to learn more about both sides first.
Educate yourself.
But even then, I'm not necessarily looking to jump in head first either. I may want to check out both sides and stand on the sidelines. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of preference when it comes to me. Like, I don't really feel like I don't really trust any part of the government. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I don't have any any of it inside of me that says, hey, I believe that if you put this person in office,
they're going to do the right thing.
Everything is going to change. No, I believe everybody has their own agenda and ulterior motives when it comes to everything. And so in order to get to a certain place, there's a level of transparency that we will never have. So I just, at times, it's frustrating. I just say, fuck it. But I mean, I don't know enough, and I'm not patient enough to sit and learn it at 34. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm going with it. Like, I do as much as I can and learn as much as I can on the fly. It's just like, bro, there's so many other things I got to worry about. Like, I got to worry about not getting pulled over out here. And like, I'm just trying to live out here. That's it. I'm just trying to go day by day out here. Like, so. But no, I think it's powerful though. I thought what he said was powerful. It was very long winded, but it was powerful.
Listen. I wanted to get it all in there because I didn't want what I guess I don't like. I feel like we like people have been taking this quote. Well, maybe you want to say the whole thing, right? Because I've been seeing like conservative use a part of this quote to say, look, black people, you shouldn't vote for Democrats as if like they're better. And I said, wait a minute, like if you're gonna quote it, like put it in context of the whole thing.
Right.
So I think that was my issue. I think what stuck out for me was honestly just the independence that we should have, right? Like we shouldn't be looking to anyone, and when you look at it, the issue that I have across the board is that we don't own anything. You know what I'm saying? Even the areas that we dominate in life, right? The NFL is what, 75, 80%, African American. The NBA is probably even higher than 85%, right? And even arts and entertainment. We have dominated arts and entertainment. We don't own any of it. And for me, so that's kind of what I resonate with it. Obviously, Brother Malcolm, he speaks in a much more harsh tone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that can offend, right? You know what I'm saying? So the purpose wasn't to offend, it was to kind of give perspective and kind of take a step back and see what brothers like Malcolm X thought about the political system, right? And he was noticing things in 1963 that we were too easy to give our vote to one party because they were friendly. You know what I'm saying? And when you look across the board, and this is, what like Killer Mike has bemoaned, right? If you look at Baltimore and Chicago and in metropolitan areas where our populations are the most densely populated, liberals have been running those cities for decades and they're trash. So, we can't just continue to just so easily say, okay, yeah, I rock with Democrats for XYZ. If we need to make our own political party, which we tried to do, and then they killed, they infiltrated, obviously, Huey P in the crew. But at the end of the day, I just want us to be more reflective. Like we have to think more. And so y'all know, man, I get into my head probably too much, more than maybe I should, you know what I'm saying? And I think about these things and ponder because I really want us to be thoughtful in our actions because the time is now for us to begin to make changes. This is the reason why you're seeing us support, more black-owned businesses and saying, okay, enough is enough. And, and having things like the Blackout Tuesday and even that, the stuff that we're going to get into later about the from the Black Coalition, the economic blackout, right? Now we're starting to say, okay, maybe if we own our own, like even Nipsey bought the whole, right, in South Central in the Crenshaw district. What did he do? He went up and bought a whole shopping center, right? Because we need to create our own banks. We need to create even schools with curriculum and education so that we're not in the situation to be beholden and have to always depend and need handouts from other people. And obviously we know that slavery and Jim Crow and civil rights that we've been fighting for, we're 450 years behind. Okay, so with all that being said, what can we do now progressively to move forward? Because at some point in time, I get tired of talking about, all the wrong that happens to us, because it gets exhausting. It's tiresome, right? I want to positively build forward. And so I think it helps us to look at the struggle of those that came before us and what they were fighting for and their perspectives on politics and how we can take that information and apply it today.
All right. I think my only bit of concern from that is if the things that we see as obstacles right now, if you say, systemic racism, if you say police brutality against African Americans, if you think about that, I don't believe that change can be made from us. I don't think we're the problem. You see what I mean? And so in essence, I don't think it's up to us to fix what these issues are. And I think that's the point that gets muddied. How do you, I don't know, in the instance of what's going on right now, how, even in the George Floyd situation, right? How is that something that we need to fix? You see what I'm saying? Like, what do we need to do as a people to say we don't want to die on the street in front of 20 people?
I'll give you an example, right? So we all of us know Highland Park, right?
Right.
Okay, in the city, right? Highland Park, highly affluent area. Highland Park is not a city. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It is a community that taxpayers have fund their own police. They say, okay, city of Dallas, we don't need you to police us. We've got this.
Right.
We're going to hire our own police, our own fire department. You don't have to worry about this sector of our city. So it is possible within law to police yourselves. If we have more of ourselves policing ourselves, we extend more grace. We give more benefit of the doubt. Okay, so through economic means and through wealth and advancement and progression of ownership. And when we own businesses, we own homes, we have banks, we control lending to our own people. Then we can create communities where we can hire police that know how to interact with our culture. So yes, you're right in the sense of right now.
But that only keeps you safe in your place of, that's like Wakanda. That's not really realistic. Like that only keeps me safe on the other side of this imaginary wall. Like we all travel and go other places. Yeah. Like, you know, I live in this, like I said, I live in the suburbs. We could be fine where we're at. Like I can be fine in Louisville, Texas. But what happens when I go to Highland Park or I'm in Highland Village in Flower Mound? Or you see what I'm saying? Like it's just a different, and so that's my thing. Like I know I can be protected in my house. Like if you run in my house right now, you'll have a problem. But if I'm outside of it, I'm subject to whatever the land brings to me, and that's my thing. Like how do I change? There's nothing I can change to make you hate me less if you already hate me.
There is a return movement. We can talk about too as well. You know, if we want.
It's a deep dive. You know what I mean? I know it's a wormhole to crawl down, and I tend to not. Because I try to be on the more of the optimistic side of things, and I try not to be a glass half empty type of guy. But it's just kind of sometimes you just sit and think like, damn, like the times that I've had instances with the police, and I mean I've had run-ins with the police since like middle school. Like I remember the school police in Compton like would apprehend you if you were ditching and bring you back to school. But if they had to do that more than one time in a day, it was going down the rest of the times they caught you. It didn't matter what they did, whether it was they may rough you up in the back wherever they catch you, they may drop you off in the wrong neighborhood.
On purpose.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So that's been going on for me since like middle school. So now in my mind, like even if something happened at my house, I don't call 911, bro.
Nah.
Like I ain't called 911 not one time in 34 years of living. And when it was called from my house, it was an accident. When we had issues with domestic violence in my family, there was no calling 911. Yeah. I'm just gonna handle it myself. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just trying to, in my mind, like when I hear so many thoughts of what needs to be done, it's like, well, yeah, that's fine for those who have the means and the will to do that. Right. But a lot of times the fight isn't for those who have the means to go buy their block up. Like Nipsey was only one nigga in his neighborhood that could do that.
Well, yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Of course, but that's the problem. Like, okay, think about it. Like, there's 1,000 Nipseys for white America, though. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's I guess that's my point. At some point, we either are gonna have to progress and multiply cats like Nip, right? Or we're going to have to figure out another solution. You know, but we can talk. We can get into this,
like I said, it's a wormhole.
Like, it's a wormhole. You know, I hope it's been. I hope it's been helpful. I want to jump into some lighter stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? All three of us here, we love music. Right. We love art. We love culture, and you know, I think it's good for us to recognize all aspects of the black experience, and for us, music is a great solace and a great escape, right? And so, you know, we are always on this show gonna bring to you individuals and songwriters, musicians, creatives that we are inspired by, that we believe in, and we want you to hear more about. So we'll have a segment, art and life segment, as well as what we call Life Behind Bars. So I'm gonna let my brother Mr. 700 kind of jump into that and talk more about that and what you got on the docket for today, my brother.
I play around with it because the beat is kind of just the same the whole way. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you can do with it, I'm cool with. You know what I'm saying? As you go through it. So I'll go puff this blunt while you do that.
Let's get sick with the beat.
I think when you record music, a lot of times you record it in spaces for like an artist. if you're recording spaces, that means in every time frame you're not always gonna be in the same space, whether that's mentally, emotionally, financially, whatever it is. And so, like, going through the songs, I kind of felt which songs came from what space or whatever the case may be. And then just kind of chose the songs that was based and, like, really fit the project that I'm working for. A lot of times with the music that I make, I try to make sure it all coincides together. So I took different songs that had different elements and that meant different shit to me and then put them together.
This mantra adopted, the closer you've gotten, the more resentment, repent for the wrongdoings to come. Searching for closure, the system fucking you over. Cost of overexposure, hold up. Word to the wiser, deceitful comes in disguises, ain't no surprises. I almost depict what niggas demages, convicted restrictions, abusive addictions. It's conclusive that we are merely amused for the system. Watch for the rules of the system, suspect never a victim.
It's 13 songs. I'm going to call it an EP anyway because I think you should be able to... Creativity, you shouldn't be consumed by what somebody else thinks or how many songs something should be. So as you get towards the end of it, you'll kind of hear what the overall theme of it all is. I don't really have a name for the project yet. So we just kind of leaving that up in the air. It's kind of like, even with the cover art, it's still in the air. But shout out to Necessary. That's who does every album cover that I have. So we're going to keep that consistent. But no, I think the production is really what does it. And the choice of producers, and like, I think a lot of times you get producers and you want to take their best beat instead of what beat fits you best. And so I think I went into this with that mindset. Like, I don't want to do nothing just because the beat is dope no more. Like, it got to be something that really calls at me. So it may be some shit that even other people don't understand, or you may not have felt it the same way that I felt it, or if you had the same choice of it to have it. But I think it's important to do what you want to do for the sake of doing it.
Pay for the wrongdoings to come, searching for closure. The system fucking you over, the cost of overexposure. Hold up, word to the wise, the deceitful comes in this. Oh, after hold up. Fucking you over, the cost of overexposure. Hold up.
Yeah. But I think it's all a certain kind of music. I don't really aim for singles and shit like that because I think that's for a different type of leverage when you record music. I think if your goal is to have a song on the radio, if your goal is to have a single smash or and all that kind of shit, then yeah, you aim for that. But when you just make music for the sake of making it and for the art of it, you kind of can do what you want to do. So I think I'm going to treat every song on here like it's a single. I'm going to push them all the same. So after this, we'll get a chance to kind of go back into the songs that we have left over. Which ironically will probably be from the same group of producers minus a few, just for the consistency to get the songs out. And then from there, who knows what'll happen. I know a lot of different things in the works, but as far as music goes, I'm open to whatever. So production-wise, that's what I'm probably most proud of with the whole project. I think that'll probably shine. And then just the quality of the engineering, I don't think that gets enough credit. So like having somebody that can mix your music the way you want it mixed, and for it to be presented the way it needs to be presented, I think that accounts for a lot too. So I don't want to devalue that at all. I think that's a very important factor. So I think when you hear this, you'll kind of appreciate that as well. Like, instead of just hearing bar for bar, I don't want to just rap everybody to sleep, I think. But as far as quality as a project, you'll get exactly what you're aiming for.
Yeah. Yeah, watch for the. Yeah. Never. Have OCD, nigga.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, what it comes to, the art and life / life behind bars segment is pretty much structured or set up in a way to shine a light on the independent artists of the world. So we'll pretty much use this section to highlight artists of all sorts, from different cultures and creative spaces. Some versions of life and art will contain a visual representation of the artist, so we may have some time where it's a short video, maybe 3.5 to 4 minutes, for you to be able to kind of get a glimpse into what they do, who they are as a person, and some things that they may have coming up in the works. And then for our YouTube audience, you'll get to see that. Unfortunately, for those who listening in, you'll have to go check out the YouTube and see what we have for those segments. We'll also have interviews with the artists from time to time, along with any open forum discussion that may pop up with the artists as well. So I'm really excited to bring this brand of content to you all. The Life Behind Bars is pretty much a behind-the-scene look into the creative process of the music creation, so it's a little bit different than the art and life section. The aim with that is just to provide an introspective look into what goes on behind the scenes to create some of the content that we've all grown to love so much. So I know a lot of times, we got favorite songs or you see your favorite video, but you never really know what goes on behind the scenes with your favorite artist. And sometimes that'll alter the way you view an artist. If you see, hey, he don't even write his own music, or, he ain't making those beats himself. Dr. Dre got Scott Storch in there. Those things that create conversation and things like that, which is kind of why the Versus series blew up, because a lot of people didn't know a lot of these producers and artists was behind a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? So just something like that to kind of give you a behind the scenes glimpse into it. And then both of these segments will be presented relatively the same, so just kind of expect that from that. We'll also have a Spotify playlist associated that'll be created by me and the homies here. So, and it'll feature our favorite artists at the time, anybody that we know that got some dope shit out that's just willing to kind of, come in and or not necessarily come in, but send in any music that you have or anything like that.
Absolutely, and I think the main thing for us is that we're talking about individuals that are on their independent grind, free of major label bondage. Right. I'm going to be very clear. Major labels are not friends of musicians, and they manipulate. And for us, I think we can all agree that time is coming to an end. And so for us here on this show, we want to make sure that those that are not getting their fair share of publicity, they're going to get that here. And we're going to make sure that we highlight individuals that are on that independent grind, not so they can get signed, though, so they can maintain independence and generate revenue for themselves, own their own master recordings, and build their brands that help their families grow so that we can create more black wealth within arts and media and entertainment. And that's going to be our contribution. I think I'm real excited, man, about Your Life Behind Bars. I've already got a sneak peek of the first one that we put together. You can go to It's AllOva Media on YouTube, and of course, like, follow, subscribe, all that, and you'll see kind of how we set it up and frame it. But it's real thoughtful. Caution, you did a great job. I think just kind of putting yourself as an artist and a creative yourself. What I noticed is that you do a phenomenal job kind of making other artists feel comfortable in that space, and they're open to talk to you and give you information, and it's not like having a journalist or somebody else that's going to use that information to put a creative headline on or to get impressions, but it's really for the purpose of understanding who they are, where they come from, why they make what they make, and how we can support them on their journey. And so I'm excited about this segment. I'm also excited just about other creatives in general. I think that one thing that if you look through society, we have in the last 30 years kind of get pigeonholed into this one space of creativity, right? Where we are more than just rappers, right? Black people create all kinds of things. If you look over the course of American history, we've created jazz, we've created blues, we created rock and roll, we created soul, we created R&B, disco, funk, and even EDM, electronic dance music, started with house music from a warehouse DJ in Chicago who was taking house records and disco records and speeding them up to different BPM to make house records. That's how EDM was birthed and all the different subsets of that genre. So I love the fact that we're going to not only feature musicians, but people that are phenomenal painters and artists. We've got some Clark, you're a sneakerhead. You got some sneakerheads out there, man, and those that are making sneakers that are putting dope murals on shoes. I mean, that is art and life. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Exactly. So we're gonna have a little bit of all of that. We're gonna highlight those that are creating music and artistic expression that bless us and make us feel good in our spirit, because God knows we need it right now for sure.
What's the email address on that they, if they want to send over any submissions or any requests to be a part of it, what's the email address that they reach out to?
Yeah, go allovaradio@gmail.com right now. That's where we'll get any submissions for the music to be featured, and we'll go through a vetting process. So listen, if you send us some boo-boo, okay, I, Loudmouth, will tell you that it's boo-boo, and the two gentlemen here beside me will also attest to that. I will say it respectfully, and I will give you things to work on because I want to uplift and not tear down.
So you're not just getting tore down, you're actually getting valuable information from somebody that it really matters. It's somebody who I've always looked to for knowledge or insight into what I've done as an artist. So it's very valuable, and I know as an individual what that means as an artist, to be able to get honest and critical feedback, at a time where most people just pat you on the back and be like, "Oh, bro, that's just knocking."
Yeah, that was good.
You know what I mean? So it matters. Like, so that's a big
nah.
deal. So that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, and that's part of my problem too with the elitist American music industry. They walk around with their nose snubbed up as if they're too good to give insight and consultation, unless they're able to monetize because they love money more than they love music. And I'll say it once and I'll say it again, and I'll say it to their face if they ask me. But you know, the thing about it is when you submit to South by Southwest or you submit music to an A&R, it's crickets. No feedback. Right. So I don't know if it's cowardice or arrogance, but either way, it's unacceptable. Yeah. And so I've always felt like I owe somebody the respect as a man, you know, to say, hey, listen, I hear what you're trying to do. You're missing the mark here or there. You know, you need to work on this, work on your cadence. You know, your songwriting needs to improve here. Hey, listen, the instrumentation is not that good. Production quality needs to improve, and give valuable insight and feedback so you can go back and take that and improve your craft. Because my desire is to help you as a musician get better, not to just make money off you. I give insight all the time and don't get a paycheck for it. You know, because I value that. And so, you know, alloveradio@gmail.com is the email address if you want to submit music to us for consideration.
Say it one more time.
alloveradio@gmail.com.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it is. And again, please don't send us like scratch tracks. Like, make sure you got an Instagram page and a Facebook
you know what?
page.
I don't really think we should even be accepting like MP3s and shit like that. Like if you don't have your music license and able to send me a link to Spotify or
Spotify link.
That's enough
Spotify,
work.
iTunes
because
link.
then we can't really even put you on the playlist if you don't have a
Absolutely.
It doesn't even matter. I'm not going to upload your music for you to Spotify to have it put on the playlist. Like, no.
You know someone gonna do that. Hey, man,
it's simple.
I just laid this down yesterday.
So
man,
if you got some links to what you have, we can listen.
Funny.
We can listen to your MP3s. But if you want to be on the playlist and you want to be considered for, you know, to have a segment on Life Behind Bars, like if y'all get a chance to see it, it's not really one of them things where we sit and ask you 3 questions and go from there. This is us coming in your environment and you showing us how you work. And I may even throw one question at you the whole time, and then the rest of it is just you doing what you do, and we recording it. And shout out to my guy B Original, my boy BMZ. That's who does the filming for the Life Behind Bars as well.
What's up,
shout out to him. You know, that's also somebody that helps me make it happen. So, but yeah, if you got it, send it over. alloveradio@gmail.com. And again, any kind of all over radio.
There you go.
At Gmail.
Don't give them no excuses not to get this shit in. People are like, oh, you said it one time, but audio was messed up. Nah, we're going to remind you.
Out in podcast suites.
That's how you submit right now. So it's not gonna stay that way.
This is get it while it's hot.
For real. Because the submission process is gonna change as we continue to move forward. But that's what it is right now. And we honestly, you know, you can thank, you know what I'm saying, Caution for dropping that, because I wasn't going to drop that for y'all, but he loves y'all. So he decided to drop that, and now I'm going to be the one that got to sift through emails.
Not just forward me the dope shit. Like when you hear something, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. First 15 seconds, that's how I am with music. You got the first 15 seconds with me. Exactly. I don't care if you got an intro, that intro better be stupid. You better be killing that electric guitar or whatever it is you playing at the beginning for that 15 seconds. You see what I'm saying? I'm not giving you more than that. I'm not. But if you got something, I'm gonna listen to it. Listen, but I do that anyway though. Like I'm that person where if you online and you post your link to your music and you somebody that I see all the time and you throw up a new, I literally just did it today. Shout out to Selly Sell, new project. He actually works with a good guy of mine that's from Denton, Texas, by the name of Izzy the Kid. Izzy's produced for a ton of people, Rick Ross. Just a ton of big artists and all that.
Dallas producer scene is fire.
Listen, that's where it is. But shout out to him. I just listened to his project today. He posted it. He didn't send it to me. I just listened to it and I liked it. You know what I mean? So that's how I operate. So I'm not really opposed to it. I like great music though. And I know they do too. So just be mindful of what you're sending, man, because it's gonna get critiqued.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was good, man. I can't wait for that. You know, you can hear probably all of our excitement in our voice, man. We really do cut for independent musicians, man. And you have an ally and an advocate here at AllOva Radio for sure.
You need to get up, get out, and get something.
Gentlemen, we got one more segment to wrap up into, and you know, the main reason why the three of us really wanted to do this show is to provide people with something that they can relate to that's fun, informational, enlightening, and uplifting as well, right? You know, but most importantly, we want to make sure you are progressing as an individual, and we are progressing as a community.
Right.
Talk is one thing, but action is what moves mountains. Action is how we change what we believe is wrong with the world. It's action that creates opportunity. We can't simply just talk, we have to do.
Right.
And we would be wasting our time if we didn't highlight those that do. We spend far too much time praising the rich and fawning over the entertainer, but we seldom recognize the servants and those that are making real life impact in our communities. It should be an inspiration for us all to keep up, or should I say, get out, get up. Why I messed the line up? You see?
Boy, killed this.
You see? I was doing so well, and then I had the whole thing prepared, and then I mess up the damn line. You see?
Beautifully said.
It's the dramatics. It's the way you went into it. Like once you threw the theatrics in there, and like your mind was on some Othello shit.
What they say in football? He tried to run before he caught the ball. He tried to run before he caught the ball.
Ball everywhere.
He all over the place with it. I don't even know what we talking about no more.
My shit got a typo in it.
Bro, and I'm sitting here with my finger on the button like my boy is ready. He just stumbling to the finish line.
He get tiptoeing down the sideline.
I want to rewind it like we on a set because I got a typo in my shit. That's not my fault.
I know it is, and
my fault.
I just read it too.
I was like, hold on, damn it.
You like Anchorman. You got to read what's on the screen.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
All right, let's try it again. Take the keep out of there because I see it. Yeah.
Okay, so we go. All right, roll it back from the top. Not the top. Last line. Okay, but we seldom recognize the service and those that are making real life impact in our communities. It should be an inspiration for us all to get up, get out, and get something.
There you go.
Hey. You won't.
Oh, G Goody.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Come on, CeeLo.
MOB.
It's all over.
That's right. You and I got to do for you and I. You got to get up, get out, and get something, people. And today we want to bring attention to those that are doing just that, getting up, getting out, and doing something about it, not just talking.
Yep.
The Blackout Coalition. Shout out to Calvin Martyr. Okay, this brother is amazing, man. He had the vision for this whole project, the Blackout Coalition. We're going to give you the 411 on this so you can get involved.
Yep.
This brother loves God and he loves his people so much that he quit his job to work on this project, okay? He didn't buy new shoes or clothes for 3 years. The brother was going to thrift stores and play those closet to rock hand-me-downs. And unfortunately, people mocked him and laughed at him. We need to stop doing that, black people, by the way. Okay? All right, we have a bad, obviously we know it's a lot of ingrained psychological warfare that has occurred, right? But we got to stop the crabs in a barrel mentality of breaking each other down for our visions and our aspirations. We need to support, and if you have something negative to say, just don't say it. Okay?
Question is, how did the crabs get in the barrel?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not conspiracy brother today. Yeah, we'll get back to it.
First of all, brother, the crab was in the barrel because
the crab was in the barrel.
See,
and
it's
the
all
barrel
about
was in the
psychological
crab.
meaning. Yeah.
You see?
I just like to,
because the crab can't get out of the barrel because the barrel's in the crab.
I've always been that kid who liked to stick his finger in the fan.
Oh my God. Okay, we tripping now. Let's not take the attention off Mr. Calvin Martyr.
Right, man.
Calvin Martyr, man. We don't want to digress, man. But this brother started a Facebook group with the vision of economic empowerment for black people. He could barely get anyone to join the group at first, and now the group has over 1.5 million members across the country. Say it again. 1.5 million members, okay? It's gotten some big recognition from artists like T.I. And others who have encouraged people to join the Blackout Day 2020, July 7th, and it's being covered across major news outlets across the nation. The call to action is legit, y'all. I'm gonna just read a little bit of this. I won't do what I did with y'all to Malcolm X, okay? Because I know some of y'all just got
that shit was longer than the movie.
Oh, man, I told you I felt like I was watching Denzel.
Preach on 3 hours.
Is he in Saudi Arabia yet?
What was going on, man?
Listen, you see, that's the problem with you Negroes, right?
2 hands out my pocket.
That's the problem with you Negroes. See, you don't read. You can't even have the endurance to okay? I read one excerpt from Malcolm X and y'all already went to sleep.
It's 2020. You got to make that shit short and snappy. Put it in a nutshell.
I told you 160 characters. I just told you this the other day.
Listen, give me a book. Man. They see that's where they hide all the knowledge in the books from you Negroes. That's why y'all don't know nothing. All right, so
I'll watch the movie. I'll watch the movie.
All right. So listen. So this is the call to action for the Black Coalition, y'all. All right. So you can go to the Facebook groups / Blackout Day Movement. Right. Okay, and you'll get to it from there. But this movement is an awakening of the national consciousness of black people in America and abroad. We need economic solidarity in America amongst all black people unequivocally in order to break free from the chains of financial servility. We will organize days, weeks, months, and years, if necessary, when not one black person in America will spend $1 outside of our community, right? So you talked about earlier, man, like you felt hopeless. These are the kind of things, man, that will help us, right? And what I love is I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Y'all can go to the Facebook page and read it. But what he talks about is like this is not about isolation or black supremacy, right? This is just about us being empowered economically. If you look at all the groups within the nation, the black dollar stays in the black community. And Killer Mike talked about this on the trigger warning. Yeah. Okay, I don't know if it's like not even a minute. Okay, our dollars don't stay because we don't have anything that we own. And so Calvin Martyr is wanting to make a movement essentially of this with the Blackout Coalition, and July 7th being kind of the first expression of this. Do not spend any money on that day. Okay, do not spend any money. Our dollars, I think it's like trillions of dollars, right? That that black people spend in the economy. Right. What we want to do is try to make some kind of a dent and make a different kind of protest, an economic protest, right? So it's one thing, it's one kind of protest to go out in the street to make signs and to do that and to be social media kind of battle and make sure that we're respected but it's also we have to do other things and he's chosen to go the economic means route. He's been in Atlanta. Talking to thought leaders and business leaders about how to advance this movement. So shout out to the Blackout Coalition.
What day was that again?
It is July 7th. July 7th, right? Yeah. So you can go to facebook.com/group/Blackout Day Movement.
One more time.
Facebook.com/group/Blackout Day
Movement.
That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You can get that there. And please support, share, tell people about this day, and don't spend any money on days. That way, listen, you already did this with the quarantine. You already went and rationed your toilet paper, so it's not that hard. Okay, get your groceries on July 6th. Get all your toilet paper.
What day again? What day?
July 7th. So get all your gas on July 6th. Man. Okay? Don't be stuck, okay, driving to work, ain't got no gas, and you looking stupid, and then I see you at the gas station, and I'm looking at you sideways because you spending money, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you wasn't prepared. So plan for July 7th, economic blackout.
That's a Tuesday.
That is a Tuesday. Yes, indeed. All right, gentlemen. Do we have any closing? You want to say anything about the community? But the community impact report, just I will say this is that we're gonna every episode we're gonna highlight somebody doing some phenomenal things within the black community and communities across all over and abroad that we feel are undervalued and not getting enough attention. They're gonna get attention here on AllOva Radio, and that's for sure. Yeah. Anything else, Jen? What y'all got?
I do got one thing.
Yeah,
I'm upset I didn't get the memo that it was collar shirt day between you and Mr. Caution.
Oh, yes.
And my man over here got a collar shirt on.
Really?
See, and I think Mark got a collar shirt on.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to our wonderful crew. Shout out to our crew, Mark. Indeed, so we got Zach in the house, man. We got an A1 crew. We don't deserve it.
The collar shirt crew. That's what we calling it.
Listen, I'm distinguished now. That sports shit is jerseys and T-shirts. Yeah. I just figured since it's a more formal discussion, I might as well put a collar on.
Well, I guess I'm wrong then. I
wouldn't say wrong.
Well, no, you got the Mr. T chains going, so you look good.
Baby, I'm flossing.
You got the beard. You got
I'm flossing,
the beard.
The beard. See, the beard is a suit.
It's like you put it on.
Yeah.
Shape it around. Okay.
Just next time we all wear polos, just let me.
I got you,
send
bro.
that email.
I'm gonna just shoot you the text. It's just gonna be I'm just gonna send you a picture of my shirt.
Collar shirt day, nigga.
Collar shirt day. It's collar shirt day.
I'm gonna fuck you over. There's gonna be a cardigan with another shirt.
Shit.
Come here with a cardigan on.
You gonna burn up on the walk to
nobody.
Oh man, well that's all we got for y'all today.
Y'all done.
Are y'all hold on?
Y'all done.
Are y'all finished? Are y'all done?
Bird, man.
We done, Bird. We done, Bird.
Y'all done.
We done, Bird. We done, Bird, man.
Y'all want to give any other? My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we wanted to thank
We got about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to thank everybody for listening, though.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So watching, tuning into AllOva Radio.
Yes, sir.
You got something to say to us? You can follow us on IG,
Yep.
Facebook, and Twitter at It's all over. Real simply.
Easy.
Spell it out.
It's all over. If I gotta spell
You
it's,
got to, but listen, to all over
Hey.
you do because they get that wrong.
They get that confused?
Uh-huh.
Okay. ITSALLOVA.
There you go, Shawty. Look behind me.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, you can see it, behind us on the screen,
nice.
all over
That's how you
radio.
spell it.
If you're listening, wherever you listen
typography.
to consume your podcast content, it's ITSALLOVA. It's all over IG, Facebook, and Twitter.
There you
Remember to
go.
like, share, and of course subscribe to It's All Over Media on YouTube. It's All Over Media on YouTube. That's right. It's All Over on YouTube. We need that subscribe because we got kids and we would appreciate.
That nigga got real ratchet. He got real ratchet real quick, boy.
We need you to help. We need you to help us get to the bag. Okay,
Right,
so
man.
that's really what it boils down to. And of course, take us with you in the whip and jam the It's All Over playlist on Spotify.
It's coming.
It's curated by the
Coming
three of
soon.
us. Yes,
Hey.
indeed. There's gonna be jams on there. You know what I'm saying? So take the It's All Over playlist with you in your whip, Spotify playlist. You know what it is, y'all. Until next time, It's All Over Radio. It's all over all.
It's all over.
Peace.